God. Jeez.
Oh shit, we don't have a theme song.
Oh shit, you're right. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, like, do we have time to buy something?
No, we just have to riff.
We're gonna just riff it?
Oh shit, it's the Nostalgic Front, a podcast from Patrick and Ream. We like movies, TV, and games, junk food, juice boxes, forgotten things.
Oh wow, that was adequate.
Yeah, that was, like, pretty good.
Yeah, are we just gonna use it for every episode?
I think we should. I think we have to.
Thank you for listening to the Nostalgic Front. I'm Patrick Hasty.
And I am Brandon Ream.
How is it going, Brandon?
Patrick?
Yeah?
It's going fantastic. Fantastically hot.
I wish we had a fucking fan right now. That'd be fantastic.
Uh-huh.
God, it's hot. It's a hot one.
Yeah.
It's like 7 inches from the midday sun.
Well, you might as well be walking on it.
We might. Christopher Walken on it. Smash Mouth sang about that.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn. I got to tell you a thing I did.
Well, all right.
I got to tell you a thing I did. Last week, my wonderful wife, Stacy, friend of the show, fan of the show, real NFer, it was our anniversary. We'd been married some 9 years. And so we went and saw a Broadway show. We saw Beetlejuice.
Oh.
Buddy, it's so good.
Is this you the whole time at Beetlejuice? Wait, when's it going to be showtime?
I did make that joke a few times.
Yeah? Good.
It was wonderful. I had listened to the soundtrack a couple times. Really good. I loved the show because what's cool is, like you saw, what did you see? Aladdin? Or no?
Frozen,
that's right.
Yeah.
So these newer musicals, their sets are really put together and they can do a lot of cool
stuff. They're made by movie companies.
Yes.
Now.
Well, Beetlejuice is a new musical, so it had a lot of those elements.
You used up 2 of them, just so you know.
I know, I won't say it again. It's so good, and the way the story is slightly different, but also very similar enough.
Beetlejuice can't change his stripes.
No, you're right. The fellow that plays him is so good. The songs are great. The play was great. Everything was good. And the coolest part was two crazy things happened. One, next to me was a woman who was probably your
wife?
No, but she was on the other side. This other woman, she was probably in her early 40s, maybe late 30s, and she had teen children, who were all there too, and everybody was listening. But she was loving it, and she started crying at one point.
Yeah.
And then at intermission, when she came back from intermission, she had bought a Beetlejuice shirt, and I was like, "This was a goth kid. This was an 80s." She was probably 10 when it came out, the movie. Obsessed with it, and now she took her kids to it and had I got to see this lady have a complete fun, emotional. But if you just saw her on the street, you'd be like, "Oh, it's some mom walking to Applebee's," It was very cool. I really liked that. And then the other thing that happened was there was a flash flood warning in the middle of the show. So all of a sudden, everybody in the theater's phones just started going, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
We all thought that,
it was a part of the show.
We all thought 9/11 was happening again, like 9/11 too. Back in the habit. What have you been up to, buddy?
Oh, man.
Or what are you excited about? How's that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, all that San Diego Comic-Con stuff coming around the Twitters this weekend. Found out what a stan is.
You didn't? Wait a minute. It took you this long?
Yeah.
What?
I saw them all over. People use that word all over the place this weekend.
And you didn't know what it was?
Mm-mm.
It's a reference from Eminem. No, that's where it came from.
It's a stalker fan.
Well, I guess, but
that's what Google said.
Google's wrong. It's a reference to Eminem, the rapper, his song "Stan," who was a stalker fan.
Oh yeah.
But it's that, and you say you stan stuff. Personally, I stan Beetlejuice the musical.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you standing right now from Comic-Con?
Oh man, well all that MCU shit that came down.
Fuck, buddy.
Yeah. I wanted to do a whole episode on it.
I know, and I talked you down from it because it would come out next Thursday. Everybody's like, we know.
Yeah, but they don't know how we feel.
Oh boy.
Excited about they're bringing a whole bunch of stuff. Blade.
The Blade is sick. Anybody that graduated high school in 2003 knows Blade fucking rules.
They're doing the Mandarin again and Shang-Chi
and he's got Shang-Chi. And the other thing that I thought was fucking sweet is Thor Love and Thunder.
4? I'm just mad they don't got Thor 4.
What's it called? Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
And did you see the logo and everything? It's like a Molly Hatchet album.
Yeah.
And Portman's coming back and she's gonna play Lady Thor. It's fucking gonna be sick.
Yeah, and they got they have so many things coming out that they didn't even have the stuff for the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Black Panther 2 and Guardians 3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's so much content. It's because Disney Plus.
Yeah,
they're trying to bring all the stuff, just like the stuff on
What?
Mandalorian. Looks
Mandalorian.
awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see any Star Warsy stuff out of San Diego
Well,
Comic
they
Con
had
yet.
a leaked Mandalorian featurette that looks pretty cool.
Did you see Ryan Solomon and Lindsay Solomon were also at San Diego Comic Con?
How about that?
And Lindsay went in cosplay, dressed up as two of the characters from the cartoon home movies.
I wish there was more cosplay, where everybody just dresses up like Kevin Costner. From
Thank God you went with Costner. I thought you were going to go another direction with that. A fella that's in prison. Yeah, Kevin Costner, that's fun cosplay, I'm throwing a baseball and you're also throwing a baseball and then our friends hitting
Robin
a
Hood.
golf ball and then Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, Tin Cup.
Tin Cup. Pretty
He
good.
had a lot of sports movies under his belt.
I didn't see the first 9 cups. That's like a joke you'd make.
Hell yeah, dude.
I am super stoked for all these movies. The Aquafina is going to be in the what is it? Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Diedrich Bader is going to be Batman again in the new Harley Quinn show.
Oh, yeah, and Ron Funches is in that show as well. Also, the other thing that The Immortals, is that what it's called?
Brandon Routh is back as Superman.
That's next week's episode. I'm going to talk a lot about this fucking Arrowverse, baby, because I'm in. I am all in.
Well, I'm all in for this fucking episode we got today.
Me too. What say we take a break so that we can all be in?
Oh.
As in our guest as well. Ooh,
Fantastic.
that's pretty good. We'll be right back. Hey, NFers, we got a sponsor on the podcast this week.
Today's episode is brought to you by
The podcast between awesome and disaster.
Oh, that's Will Carey's podcast. He was on episode 88 of The Nostalgic Front.
Yep. Will sees life as a balance between two kinds of moments, awesome and disaster. Each week he sits down with a guest to learn about their life, shared, usually creative interests, and how when faced with disaster, they were able to work through it back to awesome.
I was a guest on episode 82.
And I was a guest on episode 19 and episode 67.
Whoa, you did 2 episodes?
Yep. And I was depressed during one and happy during the other.
Ah, cool. Listeners should go figure out which is which.
And you should also subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts, and start listening to Between Awesome and Disaster.
And isn't there a Patreon?
Yep. Go to patreon.com/awesomedisaster and give Will some money so he can keep making such an awesome podcast.
And give us money, too.
Totally.
Well, back to the show.
What a disaster.
I thought it was awesome.
And we're back.
Ooh.
What a
commercial.
Good commercial.
Good commercial.
Good commercial. Goddamn. Speaking of good, we have a good guest today.
Hell yeah.
We have a great guest today.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact. Now, listeners, you might know her from opening for Mark Maron. Lock the gates!
Oh, yeah.
You might see her on the upcoming 208 Comedy Festival in Boise, Idaho. Or you know her from her wonderful stand-up comedy show, Freshman, which was just named one of the best of Chicago shows in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, go crazy for our friend, Annie Russell!
Thanks for having me, guys.
Wow, thank you for being on the show.
Happy to be here. This is great. This is one of the hottest days in New York City.
It's hot as it's
ever.
Like, oh.
So yeah, this is, what better way to spend it than recording a podcast?
That's right. 7 inches from the midday sun.
Uh-huh.
It's hot. Now, what are you doing in New York? Why are you here? You're not from here. You don't live here. I mean, you are from here.
Yeah, I am from here, actually. But I don't live here.
You got me.
We haven't gotten to that part of the show yet.
Fact check.
Yeah.
No, so I work with like this organization called the Association of Independents in Radio.
The ARA.
NPR. And so we are like kind of the liaison between independent radio producers and member stations and NPR. And so I'm here doing a training for work. We're like teaching people how to make podcasts and narrative audio and stuff.
Oh yeah, well if you want to teach us, that'd be great.
That's fine.
Hey.
This fucker.
This is a working session. This is actually not an episode that's going to be released.
I was telling you, I was looking at a thing the other day. Now this is our 114th episode, okay? And then with a guest. And we've done, so that means we've done 228 of these. And I was looking at this other podcast called My Favorite Murder. And on their 114th episode, I think it was, they played the Sydney Opera House. So, podcasting.
Talk about murdering.
That's right. Okay, so you work on that thing, but that's not, you're a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, but I'm stand-up and I'm doing shows while I'm here too.
That's
so I'm excited
right.
about that. And yeah, I just always love being in New York. So.
Fantastic. And we met originally in Detroit, right?
Yes.
Detroit, Michigan. Hamtramck.
City of Dreams.
City of Dreams. That's what they call it, yeah. I mean, bad dreams, but still. Okay, so we met there. But okay, we got to go back to the beginning now. Where are you from Well, I think we alluded to it. Where are you from originally? Where were you born and raised?
To it.
Born in the Bronx.
The Bronx?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Dang.
But raised in sort of like Westchester County area. So just suburbs of New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So right here.
That's my favorite Strokes album, Suburbs of New York. Okay. Born in the Bronx. Why were you born in the Bronx? Is that where you guys grew up? Is that
Why
where your
is
parents grew up?
anyone born anywhere?
No,
I think it's because her mom was there.
But I mean, was your family? Oh, that makes sense. But I mean, like, was your family from the Bronx, and then you guys moved to Westchester, or were you like literally just passing through a hospital on the 2 train, being like, "Oh fuck, it's time," you know?
No, my dad grew up in Washington Heights, here in New York, and
just like In the Heights, my favorite musical.
Exactly.
Now I got
it was just like that. Actually, I think his childhood.
Yeah, for sure.
My mom's
now your father's Mr. Rosario, who ran the taxi service. Am I right?
Yeah, that was the same guy.
I get it.
Yeah, and my mom was from Los Angeles, but
California.
Yes, that one. And they worked for the same company, and so my mom moved to New York, and so Riverdale is where my family lived.
Oh wow!
And yeah, that's where I'm from.
Wait a minute, Riverdale. Yeah, I got lost for a second. Now we're talking about the Archies. Is Riverdale a place?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's based. Have you looked at a map?
No.
Don't you live here?
I have Google Maps, dude. They don't tell me things.
Train maps is about how farther you have to go.
You got to take the one all the way to the end, and then you take a bus, and then you get to Riverdale. And it's a real place.
Wow, I didn't know that. And is that based off of the Riverdale from the comics? You know, like Tarzana, California is based off of actual Tarzan because Edgar Rice Burroughs lives there?
It's the other way around.
Okay, well, hey, I'm asking. I don't know. I'm like a babe in this situation.
I think it'd be cool, though, if that Tarzana, California, the city became bigger.
Oh, sure.
So it had suburbs that you could call Edgar Wright Burroughs.
Oh, that's pretty good. Do you think that works for Riverdale? Is there any, like, the Archie Outsiders or anything?
There could be. Yeah.
So
I bet there's a lot of Riverdales.
Probably.
I'm sure there is.
One
thing that you learn, like, traveling around the country is, like, we are not creative with town names at all.
No,
they get named after 2 things that are there, you know?
Yeah.
Glenwood. That's my hometown.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I have a question. So if you were to tell people what your hometown was, what would you say?
I mean, I tell people New York City is my hometown. That's what I feel like. I also lived in Brooklyn for many years too. So this,
as a child or as a grown up?
As a grown up.
Okay.
So I feel most at home in New York City, and that's what I claim.
I see. So, but is that now because now you currently live in Chicago, Illinois? Yeah. So you know how sometimes there's that joke of like, I'm from Chicago. Where are you really from? And they're like Rockford or whatever.
Right.
Is that the same? If you were to say I'm from Riverdale, if somebody was from New York, if you were like I'm from New York and somebody's from Chelsea, would they be like, where? And you're like Riverdale. Would they throw like shit at you?
I mean, one thing that I have noticed is that everyone has their own answer to that.
Okay.
And I feel like there's a lot of people from Long Island, let's say, who will say that they're from New York, and then it's like, okay, but you know,
it's like you're from Smithtown, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but I think if you're born and raised in Manhattan, like my dad's whole side of the family was, I think you think of New York as Manhattan.
Yeah.
I think if you're from Brooklyn, you think of the 5 boroughs as New York.
Agree.
So I think it's just relative depending on where you're from.
I do that too. I tell
think
people
if the MTA goes there, it's New York.
That's a good way to do it, I think. Yeah.
I sort of agree, but I am coming from that perspective. So
yeah. Okay. All right. I'm always interested in that kind of stuff because Ream, where do you live? Like if
here in the studio. Well, like this is a studio, and then I live over there.
You're right. But I have a question though. If you're like,
I'm in Bushwick.
But I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to figure out is like how I identify now. Because for so long I was like, I'm from Iowa. That's my thing. I'm from Iowa.
Oh yeah.
But like I've been living in New York State for almost 7 years now. So it's like, I guess I'm not a New Yorker, and I don't want to get into that.
Person of the world,
consider
man.
you an Iowan.
Totally. And New Yorkers consider me an Iowan,
yeah.
You know? Or like an Elwyn or something from like a Hobbit, I guess. Cause that's the thing is like, when do you, like, I always wonder, when do you start considering like switching it? Like, I still sometimes feel like I'm just visiting New York. Which I think is interesting.
I think it's 10 years.
10 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you can call yourself a New Yorker until 10 years.
Yeah. And I don't, and that's not even there's like that badge of honor of like, oh, I saw a lady jack off on the 2 train. I'm a New Yorker now.
Right.
It's more of just like, when will I feel at ease to just be like, oh yeah, I'm not a imposter, or I'm not like just filling space here, you know?
I think it's when you start complaining about businesses that you liked that are no longer there.
Buddy.
I feel like then you are actually a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker then. God dang. You know, they closed my grocery store.
Yeah.
I went to LA for 2 weeks.
Fill in the blank. They closed the bar. They closed.
That's what happens whenever I go to Des Moines.
Yeah.
Is I'm always just like, what? They can't get rid of that Casey's.
They can't knock that Casey's down and build it. Come and go on its grave.
Yeah,
that's not fair. Okay, so you're grown up. You got brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 3 brothers and a sister.
Where are you in the lineup?
I'm number 4.
Number 4. So you're the
Cleanup
youngest.
hitter.
4 or 5.
Getting all those RBIs.
Fine. Okay, yeah. That's right. Yeah, that makes sense. And so underneath you, is that a brother or a sister?
I'm uncomfortable with that, but I have a younger brother.
Okay, cool. And so growing up, are you all close in age?
No, there's a big gap between my sister and I.
Okay.
So it's like my younger brother and we're kind of like the second round.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Let's get it right this time. I get it.
So I feel like I was probably an accident.
Sure.
And then they were like, well, we got to have another one.
Yeah, kind of like cats.
Yes, yeah.
You know, you like to team them up.
You seen that trailer, buddy? You're a big musical head, of course.
Yeah, I'm a musical head.
Into the Woods. They have a new Cats trailer out, and I tweeted it. I put the audio from the Cats trailer over the trailer video from The Lion King, and I literally was like, this is one of those things that's gonna fucking kill on the internet, because that's like what the internet likes. Like 700 views, and then we're done. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it. Anywho.
My 2 viral things just never stop blowing
I know,
up.
you just keep living. Maybe tag something underneath that says, hey, listen to my dumb podcast. Okay, so you and your younger brother, you guys are like a team.
Yes.
And you guys go versus the older ones.
Sure, in this scenario.
Yeah. Well, it's Battle Royale. Okay, so growing up, were you said there's a difference between you and your next oldest sibling. Is it long enough that like they weren't in school at the same time as you, or is it just like 5 years or something?
I mean, it was 6 years, so it's pretty like
you guys were never like in high school at the same time.
We weren't close enough to like I didn't get what my younger brother got a lot, where like he would have a teacher that I had, and they would be like, "Oh, you're Annie's brother." Like I remember, like it was not we were not that close in age.
I see. Did you get any of that stuff where like you get your shit because of your older siblings?
Barely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were your older
but
siblings...
we all moved around too much, so we were never in the same schools.
And they were big fuck-ups too, right? So it's not like anybody would be like, oh, what happened to him? Everybody would be like, we know what happened to him.
Right.
Yeah. My brother is 8 years older than me, but he was like a celebrity in our town because he was like so smart. Like he said like he read the most books ever in the summer, and
that's
he
a lot
like
of free pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And he like won all these contests and stuff at the school. So like I felt like I was, and my sister was really smart too. So I was the youngest, and I came years later, and it was just watching all these teachers be like, "Oh, Patrick, Kim and Daniel's brother," and then they'd be like, what the fuck happened to you? And
then you're like half brother.
Yeah. I'm like half brother. We got different dads, and it shows, you know. Then I eat something that I'm not supposed to eat, you know, like a cardboard box I found.
Well, if you weren't supposed to eat paste, why did they make it not toxic anymore?
Why'd they make it taste so damn good?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
They changed the recipe because too many kids were dying, so to make it okay to eat it.
Oh, that's fun. They should do that with antifreeze because I keep getting sick. You ever eat anything you're not supposed to?
No.
This isn't the snacks aspect.
You got to get the 50-50 solution.
What is that?
On the antifreeze.
Oh, I thought that was...
Yeah, you'll get less sick.
50-50 solution. That's fun. I like that. Maybe you cut it. It doesn't even have to be water. Right?
No, it is water.
Yeah, but I mean, the antifreeze, you cut it 50-50 with water. Mm-hmm. Why don't you cut it 50-50 with like tea or like grape bludini or something? Then it doesn't lose its color and it still tastes like crack. This is kind of what the show is. It's a hot day. The listeners love it. They know what's up. The NFers, they're on board. Okay, so you're growing up. You got these brothers and sisters. What was your shit? What were you into?
Oh, I was like a theater kid.
Musicals.
Ballet, reading, all that kind of stuff. So like anything kind of like arts related.
Sure.
And I was
tap too?
I did tap
With
and I
ballet?
did jazz. So I did all three.
Dang.
Like through my whole childhood. And then I did pretty much every play, I edited my high school yearbook.
How old were you at your first school play, or what grade was that?
Oh, like kindergarten.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Maybe first grade.
You didn't
fucking up
do you
your
remember
lines?
what the production was?
Yeah, right. The production? I think I was a candle for the Hanukkah show.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I think,
Wait,
yeah.
are you Jewish?
No.
Oh, very, very progressive.
No,
Smart.
but it was kind of like we had the Christmas tree, we had a menorah,
Just more
we
of that
had like a
whitewashing
Kwanzaa,
casting,
like
you
we
know?
had everything.
Yeah, Becky Rosenstein's over there being the star at the top of the Christmas
It's
tree,
actually
and you're
they
the
really
candle.
tried to mix it up.
Yeah.
They
I was flying purple people eater.
The one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater?
Yeah. At a Halloween production.
Oh, wow.
I did all that stuff.
I was Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah?
There's no way I haven't talked about this on the show. We interviewed Santa Claus once on this show. Did you know that?
I did not.
And then we ran it again on Christmas the next year, and we're probably going to do it again this year.
Yeah.
We interviewed Santa. There's no way I haven't talked about how I played the great man in a musical once. And I played Frosty the Snowman.
Man, look at this range.
I know, right? If it's a Christmas character, I would have killed at that goddamn Hanukkah candle. I'll tell you that.
You would have done great.
Yeah, they would have been still talking about it.
I think it'd been great if it had been like 9 other kids.
What do you mean?
Or 7 other?
Yeah. Your
well,
menorah,
one of them's got to be the pole in the middle.
Your menorah has 10 because you like to, cross your fingers. It's like, maybe I'll get extra presents.
Yeah, the more Nora.
More Nora. Oh, that's what I say. Okay, so you were a ballerina?
Yeah, I mean, that is a stretch, I would say. I enjoyed taking dance, and I did ballet for many years.
Is dance competitive? I mean, I know it's competitive, like you want to be the best dancer, but is it like you go up against another girl and then one of you wins?
No, it's not like that. At least not in the way that I engaged with it.
Okay.
But I was like definitely in the amateur leagues. Like there were people who took it way more seriously than I did and got further in it.
Like Natalie Portman?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it was me, Natalie Portman.
Like, Mila Kunis. I've seen the movie.
Yeah, like it was just like that. But yeah, no, I mostly did it for fun.
Okay, that's cool. And you enjoyed it. It wasn't like you were being pushed into it.
I enjoyed it. I was not necessarily very good. I'll say that. But I enjoyed doing it. And that was also the way, by taking dance and being in the musical, I was able to get out of gym class with a permission slip. And so that literally was all I needed to keep taking dance classes.
Yeah, fuck dodgeball.
I was not athletic at all. I hated every minute of gym class growing up. I still have nightmares about volleyball. Oh.
Did you ever do did you ever change your mind on sports? Or are you still all out?
I actually like watching sports.
You're a big baseball fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Yankees fan.
New York Yankees.
But I have never been good at any sports.
Wow. Okay, so when you were dancing and stuff like that, did you have something?
Oh, so it was probably pretty cool when the Yankees were winning all those World Series and you were a kid.
Yeah,
man.
See?
Were you stumped?
That's all I had.
I thought you were growing up in the 90s. It was like, how could you not love it?
And on Seinfeld. Of course, George worked for Steinbrenner, so that's exciting,
No, it was huge.
Did you hate the Mets?
No.
Oh, that sucks. I thought we were
going
to get some juicy
shit. They hate
shit.
the Red Sox.
They played in the World Series once,
No,
though. That's
I do
exciting.
hate the Red Sox.
See?
Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like him either.
Plus
I didn't know.
Kurt Schilling.
I like Boston as a city. I love all my friends from Boston.
Did you live in Boston? Because you're from you spent time in Vermont at some point.
So I lived in Vermont for a couple years.
What are you running from? What's going on? Why are you bouncing around all these metropolitan
Vermont's pretty
areas?
Cool, man.
Well, here's my question. She lived in New York. She lived in Chicago.
In Burlington?
And then she's in
I
fucking
lived in Burlington.
See, I would live a year or two in Burlington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all met with the Waking Windows Music Festival.
Yeah.
And we were up there. That was, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
Remember, listeners?
Yeah, it was in May.
Remember we did that live episode in the hotel? Oh, never mind. We didn't. Because you got too drunk and stoned and Gideon was having a fit.
That's not why.
I don't know. I like to bring up stuff that nobody knows about. So we were up there in Vermont, and so that was your stomping grounds.
Yeah. Winooski, Burlington,
the bridge
between
the two.
Yeah, the bridge. I mean, I've spent a lot of time on that bridge, as I'm sure I've told you. And no, but I'm not running from anything to answer your question. I've worked for NPR member stations. And so like part of working in journalism is that you do have to move around a lot.
Sure.
And so I was in Burlington working for Vermont Public Radio, and I was there for 4 years.
It's got to be inefficient working for NPR, because when they give you something to do at work, you always be like, what was that? Sorry. And they'd be like, oh, we need you to go to Vermont.
Yeah. It sounds like a pretty good job, all things considered. Are those is that the kind of shit you guys
you're
say?
You're hired.
Yeah, right? You guys are all around there, and it's like, oh, it's stuffy in here, and somebody opens the window, it's like, fresh air. Right? That's fun. So you bounced around. All right. So let's go back to some timeline bullshit.
You're bouncing around here.
Yep. Okay, so we got, you're growing up in Riverdale. You and Jughead and their gang.
Yep. Which I've never seen that show, by the way.
Why would you?
Because I just haven't gotten around
to
it.
I never saw, what's the baseball movie that takes place in Iowa?
Field of Dreams.
I never saw Field of the Dreams for the same reason.
What about growing up,
Too close to it.
Did you ever care about Archie just because Riverdale?
No. But I wasn't. I would say that comics in general were not even in my.
Not even like the superhero ones?
I was not even aware of them really. I would
okay,
say.
so what? Okay, so were you really into like theater and stuff like that, and musicals and things like that? Was that like your not just like what you did as your pastime, but was that also your like passion, your like pop culture?
I was obsessed with like music. Like I just listened to a ton of rock and roll music and from a young age, and that was what I was into. So
like,
I was trying to go to shows, trying to like listen to new bands all the time. Like that was what I was like into.
And what was that like era? Like what? Who are you?
Britpop was like the first thing I was super like into. Blur, right? Oasis, Elastica, Pulp. I would put in that category.
That's what I was curious about.
Like all those bands, I was like obsessed.
Yeah,
with.
that's a good time for all those bands. So wait, did you say Oasis? Was Oasis part of it?
Oasis is
okay. Because sometimes people are like they're gonna rebel against the one that got big, you know. So like I don't know.
I think Oasis like Oasis.
Yeah, they're all right. I still like U2. I was listening to U2 on the way over. I don't mind. Did you not know I was talking about the band?
Yeah, well, I did, but it's just like, a lot of people like U2.
Yeah, I know, but they get a bad rap. Okay, so you're listening to all this Brit. Now, how'd you find that? Do you know?
Oh, I sure do. So there was this kid, Dennis, that I had a big crush on.
Oh, yeah.
We were in orchestra together.
Well, sorry to surprise you, Annie, but Dennis, get in here.
Oh, hey.
He walks in, he's wearing a fucking ripped up Oasis shirt. He sucks. He looks like he sucks.
Starts playing Wonderball.
Yeah, hold on. He keeps fucking it up. Hold on.
Hold on, I got this.
How do you do an A minor?
Yeah, so Dennis is the one who introduced me to all that music,
cool.
And I thought he was really cool because he had like shoes that were from England or something.
I was hoping you were just going to stop there. I thought he was so cool. He had shoes.
No, he had these shoes from England, which like apparently as a preteen I was
British
like
Knights?
very into. So yeah, I was.
They're imported, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
At the time, you think certain things are cool.
I'll tell you.
You lace them up the other way too.
Is that true? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you flush them, they go the other way too.
That's why it's called flushing.
Yeah. In the movie, there's a movie Trainspotting. Remember that film?
I had a huge poster of Trainspotting on my wall.
Which poster did you have?
Okay, so I had two.
Of course. Okay.
I had the one.
Hold on. We're going to take a break.
And then the director made a movie just recently this summer about the greatest Britpop group of all time.
The Beatles. Can I ask you real quick?
Cyclical.
Let's take a guess on what year Annie graduated high school. Okay. We're going to take a guess. Okay. So you tell us if we're right or wrong. Ream, you go first.
2001.
I'm going to say 2004.
02.
02. God. Okay. So, because you're okay. I'm 03, and you were connecting on too many things, and no one ever is 03. So I figured it'd be 04, 02.
That's where I went with me, but
yeah,
2001.
Same. Because like having the Trainspotting posters on the wall, I bet you love the Blade. You don't like comic books.
Remember they made a sequel?
I bet Dennis loves the Blade movies. Okay.
Sure, I wouldn't know.
If you graduated in 02, 03, man, you're all into that shit.
Remember Trainspotting 2?
I didn't see it.
Nobody did.
Let's go back to your posters. Which posters did you have?
Okay, so I had the one that was just the text of the Choose Life speech, and then I also had the horizontal one with like all the characters.
In the one with where it's like their boxes, or the one where they're like looking at the train?
No, the one where they're all in boxes.
Yeah.
I had that one.
I had those, and I bought them at, in college they would do those big poster fairs.
Yeah,
that's where I
was down there every single time they had
Subway
those
posters.
I'm obsessed with posters. What's Subway posters? Is that the name of the company?
No, they're just a different size of poster.
No, these are
you
like
go to the poster shop and it'd be like a $30.
Oh no!
Like I remember every like freshly liberated 19-year-old that's got his own shitty apartment would have the giant Julian and Vincent.
Oh yeah, the Pulp Fiction. I had that one. Yeah. There was also a very popular one of that time, which I never really fully understood. Was there was a lot of Johnny Depp posters going around at that time.
Yeah.
You walked down the halls of a college dorm room in 2003.
And they're just generic Depp posters.
Yeah. And it was always
just him standing there.
Yeah, with like a cross necklace or something.
I always liked the blacklight crow posters.
Oh, that shit's cool.
Velvet
blacklight crow posters.
I feel like I saw a lot of Boondock Saints
Yep.
posters as well. A lot of like, the dude who he brings you back to his dorm room and I see the American History X poster. I'm like, nope, that's a red flag. That is weird.
I literally, now, I don't know what was going on, but I literally, when girls would come over, I would turn around my American History X DVD because I was afraid that they would think I was like a Nazi. Because there was some movie at the time where somebody had, Half Nelson, I feel like that came out too much later. But like there was some movie at the time where somebody had a Mein Kampf on their shelf, and they were like, "Oh, Mein Kampf," and he's like, "I'm not a Nazi just because I have that book."
A Half
And
Nelson.
so in my head, I was like, "I don't want them to think I'm a skinhead just because I like Edward Norton vehicles," you know?
A Half Nelson. That's just when you point at somebody to go, huh?
Yeah, that's right. My poster I had of the Choose Life speech had a
What's
spelling
the Choose
error.
Life speech? Is
It's you probably
about-
memorized it. Go ahead and read it. Say it off your top
I
of your
think
head.
it's choose life, choose a full-time job, choose. I don't
I'll
have
never-
it committed to memory.
I would.
but
God, when you got into it, I was like, this would be the greatest if you did.
I know if I were able to recite
sounds
that,
like
I
some
would feel.
Christian.
No, it's like a monologue.
Pro-life.
No.
In Trainspotting, there's like this monologue
Okay.
that he gives where he's just like, choose life, choose a job, choose blah blah blah, all these things, and it's
Ewan?
all. Yeah, I think it is Ewan. But mine had a spelling error in the middle of it, and it was one of those things where I had that poster on my wall for like 5 years, and then one day I was just looking up and I was like, "That's not how you spell that."
My
and
favorite
it like
spelling-
missed a letter.
My favorite spelling era was mid-90s.
What do you mean? When there was a lot of Z's?
No. He produced 90210.
Okay.
Models Inc.
Models Inc. Of course.
Melrose
Place.
Place.
Yeah, I get it. All right.
That was the best spelling
That's
era.
right. That's right. This is what the show is, Ian.
Patrick runs a regular show, and I try and derail it.
And
every 5
a lot
minutes.
of times I'm also derailing your pun show. Your show that
The show within the show.
questionably a lot better. Okay, so you got those. What other posters do you have? I love poster talk.
Yeah.
So I had the 2 Trainspotting posters. I did have an Oasis poster that was just Noel.
Oh, you had a Noel
Which was a
poster.
very strange choice on my part, but I stand by it.
They had a good logo.
Yeah,
I like
had-
classic black with the.
Oh, I thought it was just them in sunglasses and a fisheye lens, like leaning in.
Yeah, that kind of too. That makes sense.
There was, I'm sure those existed as
Yeah.
well. I had a couple Beatles posters,
Okay.
as well. I had like a
Favorite
Only
Beatle?
John poster. My favorite Beatle
As a kid, I
has evolved.
Yeah,
Okay.
they always do.
I started as a John.
Everybody starts as a
gal.
John.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's evolved, and
And then
now
I think everybody winds
yeah.
up Paul or George.
Yeah, now I'm George.
See?
Yeah. Do you think anybody ends up a John?
Not anymore.
I think if you get less mature over time,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so
You
you
know?
said you're a Paul now, or you're a John now?
I'm a George now.
George now. George.
I'm
now.
appalled when I
You're
read some
appalled?
stuff about John Lennon.
Yeah, about how he jerked off with his buddies. I think that's actually my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? That was
Uh-huh.
crazy. Do you think that if you knew that then, would you have taken that poster down? Or would you put up another?
That's what Come Together is
I think
about.
I was enough. Yeah, I think I was enough of a contrarian that I probably would have just been like, no, I like that.
No, I think that's rad.
Yeah.
I don't even like their music.
Yeah.
It's just based on that
Just-
that I put that poster
It's just this
up.
thing that's going to come out in 20 years. Okay, and then did you have any other cool posters?
What did I have? I had some other movie posters too.
Ooh, what was your favorite movie when you were that age?
Oh God. I was like a big Monty Python
Oh,
head.
yeah.
Like my
Golly.
younger brother and I used to just like roll on the floor laughing. We would like fast forward and
mean-
rewind over like the same parts over and over.
Which other movies have you seen the most, you'd say?
To be honest, I probably have seen like Holy Grail the most.
Yeah.
Just because that was like, I think probably the first one I saw.
Yeah.
But I think Life of Brian is the one that like my brother and I consistently like will still crack each other up
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
we quote to each other. So
It's also fun when you have that friend where you can just text random
oh yeah, you just
one-liners.
Yeah.
can just be like, you know,
Like, I have a best friend, Duffy.
Davy, shout out, friend of the show.
I just know I can text him in the middle of the night and just be like, throw him to the floor again, Centurion, very roughly.
Yes.
And then we'll wind up texting Monty Python stuff
Yeah.
back and forth for the next.
That's I missed it. We did our fun size all about Monty
Yeah.
Python and stuff like that. But like, that's funny that the two things that you guys connect with, Monty Python and the Beatles, I was just like missed. I wasn't in on either of them.
But I
when
also
I was a kid.
like I had a bunch of older siblings, so
Sure.
I think part of it was like I
You're
sort
being-
of grew up thinking that like Gen X stuff was really really cool,
Cooler, yeah.
and stuff that was older was kind of cooler. Like my favorite TV show as a girl
Mm-hmm.
was the Bob Newhart show. I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever seen.
Are you talking
in
about
my
Bob
life.
Newhart, the when he's the
Not
therapist?
the one in
Yes.
Vermont, the one when he's the
Because
therapist.
the Vermont one would make sense with your life track.
No.
Vermont, Newhart's a second one, right?
Newhart's the second one.
Newhart
With
is the second one.
with the iconic
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl
series finale.
Yeah, where they go back to Suzanne Plachette.
Yeah.
I like that show a lot too, and it had Miss Krabappel.
Yes.
Miss Krabappel was his receptionist on that show.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. What were you gonna do? Pour some Red Bull out for her?
No,
That's what it
I
looked like.
had any left.
Oh God, Miss Krabappel, I gotta get jacked. So did you watch a lot of like Nick at Night and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I watched a lot of Nick at Night. I watched a lot of like older stuff. But I also saw all the movies that came out. So like I loved Now and Then. That was like a big one for me. I think anyone who like grows up at that time, like we all did the pause to try to see Devon Sawa's penis. Have you?
Wow.
Do you guys not know about this?
No.
Okay, so there's a moment in
How
Now
old
and
is he
Then.
in this film?
I
Hey,
mean,
let's not ruin this.
Let's not
Well,
get weird, okay? Let's just point out I was probably 10 or 11 when
Pause
this
it
came
and you're
out.
like, I saw it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There's a moment in Now and Then where they all like go skinny dipping and Devon Sawa's like running back and he's in a towel and he like bends down, but the shot for whatever reason is like as he's kind of crouching down. And so every girl who was like a preteen
Sure.
who had the VHS of that tape would like pause it to try to see.
I love it. Everybody's
something.
tapes break at the
Wow.
same spot,
Yeah.
you know? There's a scene, and it's not the same, but there was a scene in Saving Silverman where when Amanda Peet walks out of the house, she turns just right, and you can see like full boob and nipple and everything.
Yeah, there's also.
And I just remember being like, "Holy shit!" I think she's.
What year did that come out?
Oh, I don't know. I was probably like
2001.
That's
20.
like,
I was like,
you were kind of old.
yeah, I was like 29 when I found that out. But
there's a
I
scene in the whole 9 yards.
the whole 9 yards. Okay, isn't she as naked
She's
in the scene?
topless in
Yeah.
whole 9
Yeah,
yards.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's sneaky though. That's what I like about it. You know, it's fun. It's secret. I wasn't supposed to see it there. You know.
What's that side boob that's everywhere now?
Oh yeah, it's the 90s, man. That shit's back.
Yeah, where people wear the shirts with nothing underneath them. And
Yeah. It's a wonderful time to be alive. Do you think Sawa's out there wearing side boob
I haven't
pants?
actually checked up on him.
How
I'm going to
is
look
he?
up his
He looks
Instagram
good.
right
Does
after
he?
this.
He comes up a lot on this podcast. Yeah, yeah.
He does. Is he? Can I
We've
ask?
Googled to check in on him.
Right, because everyone loves like Casper and all those
Yeah.
old movies.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
liberal.
Little Giants.
Right? Isn't he like super liberal and like talks like
I
outspoken on Twitter? Or am I wrong?
I really have not caught up with
I
him.
might be
don't
mixing
know.
him. I might be mixing him up with another like heartthrob from that era, but he was great. I really loved him. I really liked. He's in. Isn't he the guy? The kid in Little Giants too?
Yeah, he had the quintessential '90s kid haircut.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real
Classic.
fun time. I just watched The American President. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's Aaron Sorkin wrote it, I think, and then
That's Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Or Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas
and
Douglas.
Annette Bening.
and Annette Bening.
I was thinking of the Michael Keaton's president when his daughter has to go on a date.
Oh yeah, my
Katie
God.
Holmes.
Yes, that's right.
First daughter.
First daughter. Yes.
Not to be confused with First Kid starring Sinbad.
Also, might as well tie all this up together too. Michael Keaton, the actor, his
Yeah.
actual birth name is Michael Douglas.
God, we need some.
Do you know
fucking-
that?
I just learned that right
There
now.
already was one, the Michael Douglas we know, and his favorite actress is Diane Keaton, so he
That's why-
chose
No.
his name. That's 100%
We
real.
had a lot of
He named
presidential
himself
movies back
for
then.
Diane Keaton?
Yeah, because she was like The Godfather 2 had just come out, and he was like,
Oh
"Holy
my
shit!"
God.
And he had to pick another name, and then that was back when he was doing stand up.
Do you think like they've met and
Probably.
she-
I would love it if she doesn't know it. She's like, "No, who's your dad?" And
You ever
he's
watch-
like,
Like, are we-
funny story.
You ever watch Dave?
No.
Yes.
Kevin Klein?
But people
seen
love that
Dave.
movie. You
Yeah.
like
It's
that?
a great movie.
Is it?
He had a lot of
There's a
president
scene in
movies
that where he
back
like,
in the
isn't
day.
there a scene in that where he's like in like a big, like almost like a Gundam contraption thing, and he's like moving his arms around? I think there's a scene in Dave.
I don't think
I feel
so.
like it was
It's a
in the-
pretty
So
straightforward.
speaking of presidential movies, the other thing I had up in my locker for some reason is, do you guys remember when Independence Day came out
Yeah.
on VHS and in the front there was that like hologram
Oh, yeah, yeah.
cover?
The White House blowing up?
For some reason.
That's great for the locker because you're opening
Yeah,
it
yeah.
up
Yeah, for
and
some
it's blowing
reason,
up every time.
that was like the one thing
Yeah.
I had in my 7th grade locker, and
That's hilarious.
It
That
made
was
no sense.
the biggest movie ever.
I know,
Yeah.
it was huge.
Yeah.
It's so weird how sometimes like movies like that, like I don't know if people will grasp how big that was like almost like Endgame. Like that's all anybody talked about
Yeah.
for a year was Independence Day.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel sorry for the kid that showed up to school, first day of school.
Yeah.
Of
fall
whenever that fall.
1995,
Yeah.
and he hadn't seen Independence Day,
Nah.
and everybody's just like,
Everybody's like, "You didn't see it." He's like, "My parents were killed in a car accident," and he's like, "But you got it. Wilson, this is my victory day." He's like, "The funeral was a week-long affair." You know. Goddamn. Okay, so you're into this Brit pop music and stuff like that. You're into these films. What else are you doing? Running around? You're dancing. You're singing. You're stuff like that.
I'm running around. I was also just super into movies. So my high school job was I worked at a video store.
Where at?
Was
it a Blockbuster? Name brand?
No, Hollywood Video. Not a Blockbuster, but a Hollywood Video. That was my first job.
I get it.
I think they're tied with Family as the two biggest chains under the Blockbuster, right?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. It was Blockbuster, Hollywood, Family, and then Hollywood and Family merged in the later years and became number one. They were doing it. And then Family Video is still around in some small areas.
A lot of places.
Yeah.
It's like the last hang on.
Mm-hmm. You liked working on Hollywood Video?
Loved it.
Did you get to have a wall?
It was,
like
I had my little staff picks.
Nice.
What were your staff
section. Picks? Oh, I probably just
You're like
anything that was British. I'm sure that's what was on there. So I had Train Spotting. I had Shallow Grave. If you guys have seen that,
that's good. Also, Ewan. Also, Danny Boyle, right?
Also, Danny Boyle and like underrated Danny Boyle, which I think people should check out.
He also had Now and Then, of course, but then in parentheses it says just speed ahead.
Just speed ahead. No, this was
to the broken part.
You know, by the time I was in high school, I think we were still renting VHSs, but it was like half DVDs,
totally.
half VHS at that point. But yeah, I just had a bunch of weird British movies that everyone thought I was weird that I worked with. Everyone was like,
were you like the cool chick that was like into like
everyone was
arts?
into like very mainstream stuff, and I was like the only weird one. We had to wear these little vests that had like popcorn and stuff on them, and
little
these like
movie
bow
reels
ties
and stuff.
movie reels. So that's what I wore.
I always felt bad for the Hollywood Video employees because they easily had the worst of it.
When I worked there, I had to wear a black button-down and black pants. And it was like the middle of the summer in Iowa.
Yeah.
It was like 100 degrees.
Blockbuster is just kahakis and the blue shirt with the yellow collar.
Yeah, like a blue polo. But I could wear my own, like I could wear whatever pants, and like I had to wear like a white button-down under, which as an orchestra kid, I already had a lot of that. So that was like totally fine for my wardrobe.
I just miss being paid for movie talk.
Me too.
And I also worked at a different video store when I was in grad school here in Brooklyn that is closed now, called Video Free Brooklyn in Cobble Hill.
Video stores were the best jobs.
Yeah.
That's a cool name, Video Free Brooklyn. I
young
like
kids back in the day.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun job. It paid nothing, but like I got to see every movie I wanted to see.
And
and
you
free
get to see
rentals
your friends
and
most of the time on the weekends.
I would have people just come visit me.
Yeah.
Like it was so fun.
Oh,
A
gosh.
lot of-
Remember going and visiting your friend at work at some retail place forever?
Which is like now seems like why would I spend my time doing that? But we all did it.
Yeah.
A lot of
at the mall, it was just we can go to merry-go-round and see how Steve's doing.
Hang
out with Steve.
A lot of my Stacy and I in our like second year, I think we were dating. We met in college in Ames, Iowa, and then I moved to Omaha.
You met in college?
In college, and I met a couple
on
years.
MySpace?
Well, we on MySpace in college. Yeah. That's where we were.
That's like
I was logged into
I think that's the coolest.
Well, thank you. But I moved to Omaha, which is like 2 hours away, and so then on the weekends sometimes she would drive down, but I'd be at work at Blockbuster, so we would have these like 8-hour dates where she would just hang out in the Blockbuster, and then we'd watch movies on the TV.
Yeah.
I think I was actually watching maybe Sopranos at the time or something. We were watching some television show, and we'd just hang out, and she'd like sit on a chair, and then like a customer would come in, and I'd be like, I gotta go fucking talk to this guy. And then I'd rent something out, and then we'd just hang out the whole time.
It's funny, too, how much they promote the customer service side of it, where you have to say hello so somebody comes in.
Yeah.
And you have to do all the suggested sales and everything, too. Blockbuster rewards.
I was good at all that stuff. The Movie Pass came out when
man.
I worked there, and I also have like a weird Pavlovian thing, too, where I'm in a store. If the bell goes off, I immediately want to be like, hey, how are you? Because that's also how Come and Go was, too. You just kind of acknowledge everybody as they come through.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so when you were working at Hollywood Video, did you ever, two things. One, did you ever thieve any movies or anything like that? Was this prior to like the DVD burning era? Probably around the same time?
I think maybe this was either before that or like I certainly didn't know how to do that if that was the case then.
Because when I was at Blockbuster, we burned. So I still have like albums full of DVDs that were burned. That movies I've never even seen and stuff. You know, Blade Trinity, never saw it.
But you had to have a burner. You had to have a DVD player
like
that also had
Yeah.
that function.
We had a computer. My friend's computer had it. Like when he bought his computer, it came with it all. And then you downloaded software. But it was so easy, and since I worked there, my friend worked there. We had 5 free rentals a week. So we would just constantly do that, and every once in a while you'd try to burn something, and a pop-up would happen that's like, hey, Warner Brothers says you can't do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah.
It's funny you bringing that up. I was going through my time hop this morning, and one of my updates is me complaining about having to wait for Dexter season 3 to come out on Netflix. And it should be on Netflix. I shouldn't have to go through snail mail to get the whole season.
What a simpler time.
Back when you were doing Netflix, you would binge 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Because they came through the mail.
And some people still do the weird mail Netflix stuff.
Well, you have everything.
Yeah, it's so
I think
interesting.
it's a selection thing,
Yeah.
or it's just a generational thing where some people have just like gotten used to that, and that's the way they want to do it.
It still works great if you're trying to like knock out movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess.
If there's like classics you haven't seen, I think that's a good option.
Yeah.
You know,
I do like right now we're binge watching Veronica Mars. Still, we talked about it last week on the show a little bit, and I'm in the middle of season 2, and they just dropped the new season. Did you hear about that at Comic-Con and stuff? And so they dropped the new season a week early, which was kind of exciting and stuff. But we had been planning on watching the series. We were hoping that we would be done so that when the new season came out, and so they dropped it early, so that didn't happen. But then also, it's just like I have binge watched a ton of stuff. But it's to the point where sometimes I'm like, we just watched 6 hours of this show, and we still have like 20 hours left, and it's like, it's starting to become too much.
That's what's good about modern day streaming is a lot of these shows are made for the binge idea. You know, like Stranger Things has like 9-episode seasons.
Yeah.
And Veronica Mars
was 24 episodes a season because it wasn't created that way.
Yeah, because they're trying to drag that shit out. Think how good Lost would have been.
Yes.
If it came out today.
And was 9 episodes apiece?
Yeah.
right? Like you're not creating it for a broadcast television audience anymore. You're creating it for a streaming audience, which is a different.
And
thing.
you don't have episodes that are throwaway anymore because they just like need, they want to keep everybody getting paid.
Or they're stretching things out for advertising purposes.
Did you ever watch that show, Veronica Mars?
I didn't.
Okay. It's one of those things that I bet you'd love it. Just knowing what I know about you so far, I bet Ream, I know you'd love it. I bet our listeners would love it. I never knew what it was. I had no idea, and certain people already love it. But in this season we're watching right now, they just did a Lost reference. They had a fortune cookie with the numbers, and it was Lost numbers. But this episode aired like during the beginning of the 2nd season of Lost, so like they were doing Lost references immediately.
Wow.
And they
were doing it so early it was probably lost on some of the audience.
I can't imagine anybody getting it at the time. And there was a different network and everything too. It's like, who was this joke for? And then another thing they did was they did the same thing with Arrested Development. They did a big Arrested Development joke run. But a thing that just happened was a character showed up that we haven't seen since the 3rd episode of the 1st season. We're like 20 episodes into the 2nd season now. And Stacey and I are just like, what the fuck? Could you imagine if you're watching this week to week and then a year went by?
Yeah.
When that person showed up, we'd be like, who the fuck is that? Like, what? And you couldn't...
And then your wife's like, what are you on, Veronica Mars?
Yeah. It's so weird. I can't... It's so funny how quickly binge watching has turned into like a new thing. And that's why I'm running for governor, everybody. Okay, so you're growing up. You're in Riverdale. You're hanging out. You got your family and your friends. What made you... Wait. So what happened? You go to college?
Yeah, went to college upstate Poughkeepsie, New York. So
Poughkeepsie.
People know where that is.
Near Binghamton.
And then it is not.
Nope.
But it's like 2 hours north. So it's on the Metro North still. It's like the last stop of the Metro North. So I was in New York, honestly, for like the first many years of my life. So I was in Poughkeepsie, then immediately moved to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then I went to grad school in Manhattan. So I was in New York pretty much forever.
When you moved to Brooklyn, was your family like, what are you doing?
No.
Stay close to home. Or did it feel like you were still home?
I mean, it felt like I was still home. Because it's literally like a train, a quick train ride away, less than 40 minutes. So it was like not a big deal. Like I came to, like there was no doubt in my mind that I would just move to Brooklyn after graduation because that's like what literally everybody did. So I came to Brooklyn in 2006.
Okay. That's because I moved to like Council Bluffs, Iowa when I graduated to go to community college, which is probably closer than it's closer to my hometown than the Bronx is to Brooklyn, but it was like I moved to like another state. Yeah. I would see my parents like once a month maybe, and we never talked and everything. It's just weird. Once you get on a highway, it's a different situation.
I probably saw my parents like once a month.
Maybe
even less than that. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so then you go to college, and what did you study?
So I studied like English, and I was double major English and history.
Oh, okay. English and what's the mascot there? What school is that?
Oh, what is our mascot?
Oh boy, sports head.
I have no idea.
What school is it?
Let me.
University of New York Upstate.
I'm gonna.
SUNY
no.
Upstate. Let me guess.
Do we have a
Poughkeepsie County College.
Ooh.
have a
That's pretty good.
mascot? Hang on.
The Poughkeepsie Running Dogs. Right?
I like dogs.
This
The
is so embarrassing.
Poughkeepsie
I'm
New
looking
Yorkers.
up our mascot right now.
I hope
we
it's
didn't
some-
have a football team.
Did you have any sports teams?
Yeah, sure. There was like
Hockey?
Oh, the
Ew, this
Really?
doesn't look good.
the brewer?
The Brewers?
No, just the brewer.
The Brewer.
The brewer.
The
Is
Mil-
it? No.
The Poughkeepsie Brewer.
Very strange. Yeah, maybe.
This really knocked you for a loop.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, no, I never went to a sports game.
Sure.
In college.
Okay, but you studied there. And
Yeah.
then history and English. And then when did you go to Vermont? What took you to Vermont?
A job. So I got a job at Vermont Public Radio, and I was there in 2013.
Okay. I like it. And is that where you started doing stand-up comedy as well?
No, I was kind of dabbling when I was still here.
In
so
Brooklyn?
yeah,
Okay.
so I was like really interested in comedy. I would say like when I was from college, and then when I was especially in my early 20s is when I started getting really into comedy, and I would like go to every comedy show.
Sure. Now, did Dennis get you into that too?
No, Dennis and I can't believe I'm actually about to talk about this. So Dennis and I kind of lost touch.
God damn.
But then when we were both in Brooklyn many years later,
Yeah.
he MySpace messaged
Hell
me.
yeah. That's how I met my wife.
And we wound up going out on several dates.
Dang.
And it was like I finally got my
Yeah.
high school crush to notice me type of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
now you're the Wonderwall.
yeah. But he immediately he had like just broken up with someone, which
Sure.
of course is why he MySpace messaged
That
me.
is what you do.
Apparently how things happen. So we went out on several dates. It like totally fizzled out, and then he immediately got back together with and married the woman that he was dating before.
That's super.
which is like I'm happy that
That's
worked
great.
out for
Yeah,
him.
love him.
Great.
God bless you, Denny. Okay, but so how did you find comedy? What started you said was it Monty Python? Was that the first like
Well, I was
pushes and
always
then-
a comedy head. Like, I don't know if you guys have had this experience where like you've always been into it, but like it just hasn't occurred to you that
Yeah.
like this is the thing that you
Totally.
actually care about more than
totally.
anything in the world. So I was always into it, and I was dating this guy in my early 20s who was taking classes at UCB, and so
that's a whole
every
thing.
like 101 class show,
Yeah.
I would have to go and support his like improv.
He's like, now Annie, this is what they call a callback. Okay?
Yeah, and then he would explain it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, like,
Sure.
I feel like I could come up with some
Yeah.
jokes that
No,
are
no,
better
no,
than what
see?
you're saying." And he always wanted to try stand up, but he never did.
Yeah.
You know, millennial improvers, they don't call back; they text back.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
So that's how I started going to all these shows, and then going to all the stand up. And then I was like, "Oh, I am actually really." It kind of dawned on me one day. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is actually like, what am I doing dating this guy who's
Right. Yeah.
bad at comedy? I should just do comedy."
that is such a
That's such an origin story.
It is, and
You know
it's
how many
also
times that's happened?
Exactly. How many friends of mine who are like they got into stand up because they went on a date with a guy who was terrible at stand up, and they're just like, I don't want to
Wait,
be.
if this is what
Yeah.
it takes to
I
get
think
into this,
I love the idea of like the origins. I don't know if this is a thing, but I would love the idea of like, you know, like you go on a date with somebody and he's a stand up and you're like, oh, he's a stand up. And then you don't know. And then you start doing stand up and then like 10 years later, you're like a great and they're just like you find out you went on a date with like a real dumb fuck who everybody hates who's bad at comedy.
He's reached out to me over the years to
Yeah.
be like, oh, like I see you're like doing
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, like I see you're not doing any comedy at all.
That's cool. How's Barber College going?
Yeah.
God, I love Barber. That's the name of his improv group.
Yeah,
Barber
I'm
College.
sure it
Upright
is.
Citizen
I'm sure it
Barber.
is.
Yeah. So that's crazy. So you started in New York in that 2007, 2006, 2007 era?
It was so cool.
Seems like a different
even
time for
just-
New York.
Even just the shows that were around then that I would go to all the time. Like I went to this show all the time called Totally JK, which was like just so fun. I would go to Jenny Slate's show in Williamsburg all the time.
What's the Rafiki? Was that at that time too?
Rafiki. I would go there all the time too. So it's like I felt like I was kind of like at all these shows during this like really cool time where all these people who now are famous. Huge.
Yeah. And then there's some people you see at an open mic still, and you're like, really? You
Sure.
can piece it together?
Sure.
That's super. I'm really intrigued by that time period in New York comedy. Because I don't like.
Well, just watch Crashing.
Yeah. Because I think that like the late 90s has been well documented. Like all the your boy Mark Maron and all that kind of era has really been Colin Quinn. All that stuff's been like but there's that middle ground. Like when all those people kind of started, I find really interesting. And there is kind of like a through line to stuff like things about like how like. Derek Comedy, those guys, like they put on their first stand-up shows at the Creek in the Cave because they went viral and UCB only wanted them to do improv stuff. And so like little things like that I find so interesting and stuff like that. Like, who was it? Somebody from, what is her name? She played April Ludgate on Parks and Recreation.
You know what
I'm talking about?
I do know who you're talking about. Aubrey Plaza.
I just heard an interview with her and found out that she recorded her audition for Funny People at the Creek because she couldn't do stand-up anywhere, and Donald Glover was like, well, I have an open mic you can come do, and we'll just pretend, we'll make everybody laugh. And it's like things like that. Like there's this whole era that I've never heard of, you know?
Yeah.
Or
that
the stories
at
are
that
nowhere.
Time was a little bit,
it was a different thing.
I used to live in Greenpoint, and so I would go there pretty regularly because you could just walk over the bridge, and like it was mostly improv at the time. And now I feel like
it's a whole different thing, and it's like ins and outs, and it's every week it's having a thing, and it's a new story. But it's so weird how just that little bit of history. Every once in a while, like somebody will mention a venue, like Rafiki was a show that was huge, and like I think like maybe Nick Kroll ran it or something, but the owner of that bar, I guess that I don't know what happened, but all that ended. But then they later ran that bar in Parks. You know that bar in Gowanus that Gideon ran an open mic at for a while. The guy who owned the venue where the hottest show in New York was for years, later ran that place where Gideon just ran an open mic and wanted to make that the hottest place in New York, and it just didn't work out, and now it's knocked down, and it's not even you know.
Well, you know, the sing-alongs go on, but they're singing different songs in the rooms that we don't know on the other side of the city.
That's a line from... I literally thought you were going to quote that guy Rafiki from Lion King at first.
No.
And I was like, oh, Frank Turner. Cool. All right, I'm on board now. Goddamn. All right. So you started doing stand-up, and then you moved to Vermont.
Yeah, I moved to Vermont. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I like can't do stand-up anymore. This sucks. But like I'm moving for work, and
because you're moving to this
have to do that
place that obviously there's probably no comedy there, right?
That's
what you
thought,
would think. Yeah.
But that turned out not to be true because they have a great club there that's opened in the past couple years, and there's actually like a really cool scene. And I loved living there because I feel like when you are in a smaller market, like you just get to like try stuff out and like, you know, work on stuff with like way longer sets and it's just fun.
And people are more supportive because you
so supportive.
have to build a scene together when there is no scene.
Yeah.
So I'm like very glad that I did that.
Yeah, I feel like that seems like we have a joke on the show, like when we have guests that we like somebody that we don't know very well. We're like, well, I bet they're going to be from Vermont or San Francisco because everybody right now is from either Vermont or San Francisco.
Well, I mean, I can't say enough about like the Vermont comics that are here because it's like there are good comics that have come out of that scene.
Yeah,
so.
Totally.
Yeah, Carmen, Anya, all of our friends, Kendall, they've all been on the show. It's so I don't know. I think it's rad to have a place that respects you. Like
Vermont, they're really churning out these comics.
Is that like a butter thing?
No, it's a ice cream thing. Because Ben and Jerry.
Ben and Jerry's. I get it. I get it. Ice cream. Ooh, that sounds good. It's like a future callback to the fun size this week. When we started in Des Moines, we had a kind of a small scene like that. But you know what happened? I was going to tell you this, Ream. Last night, my sister, who doesn't live in the Des Moines area, but her and her husband randomly went to the Funny Bone to see Taylor Tomlinson, the comedian, great comedian. And Dan Umpton was hosting the show.
Yeah.
And so she texted me. She's like, do you know Dan Umpton? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Yes, why? What happened? Did he die in a car accident? And she's like, no, I'm at a comedy show and he's hosting it. And I was like, thanks. You didn't come to the last show I did in town, but that's fun.
Well, did you see Jake Fromm had a really funny tweet?
Which one?
Or Sherm Jacobs.
Sherm Jacobs?
Yeah.
Are you friend? You know Sherm?
I don't think so.
You gotta meet him. He's
Where
great.
he's talking about all this time that he's invested into his website.
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
making sure it's got all of his dates posted on it and all the different stuff that we do to promote ourselves. And then he's like, and then I get a message out of the blue from an old friend from high school. He's like, hey, when are you doing some shows?
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
I had a friend from high school who I don't know her very well. We were like friends in high school, but we haven't kept in touch. And she lives, I don't know, I think she lives in Oklahoma now. She's like a mom, she has a kid. And she commented on an Instagram post and she's like, hey, I'm going to be in New York on Wednesday and Thursday. Do you have any shows? And it's like, well, I do, but I have this like, it's like we were talking, it's like a terrible bar show.
Yeah.
Yes.
That like, and it's not, the show's not terrible, but it like potentially could be. And I'm like, I don't want to invite this person who only knows me from the internet and who knew me as a funny person in high school. And then they come see me bomb in a bar show, you know? Like
I have people
can't.
at work, like bosses being like, hey, so when's your next show? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know, man. You tell me. You booking me, buddy?
Yeah.
What do you got? How much time? Oh, God. Okay, so then you come up there, and then you end up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is a huge comedy scene.
Yeah, which
That's-
is great.
yeah.
And I love Chicago. It's a great scene. And yeah, again, moved there primarily for a job, but yeah, it's been great.
It's pretty rad that your career affords you to be able to travel a lot, which is great. But then also, the cities you're going to live in are probably cities that I would assume that any city with like a thriving NPR scene also probably has a cool art scene, which would lead to a cool comedy scene.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And now I work remotely, so it's like
even better.
the options are way more open, and I have had the opportunity to be on the road more, which is like, you know,
The dream.
what I like to do. So
Yeah. That's goddamn fantastic. Okay, now, so when you go back up, I'm curious about this. Since you grew up there in, what was it called?
Riverdale.
Riverdale, that's right. You and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Did you ever come to the city a lot? Were you constantly in, like, New York City and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Or was it more like, well, we go there every summer or something?
No. Well, my dad worked in Manhattan my
Okay.
entire
Yeah.
life, so it was like
Yankees games.
normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yankees
Museums.
games, sports all the time. We would go to Yankees and Giants games
When you-
all the time because my brothers and my dad were big sports fans. And yeah, like coming in for museums, coming
your
in for a
favorite
field
Yankee?
trip all the time. Oh, Bernie Williams, 100%.
Okay, all right. Pretty sick guitar player, too.
I don't know, Bernie.
He
Yeah,
was a
he
jazz
is
guitarist?
also a good guitar player.
Is
yeah.
he the guy that played the oldest Brady on the Brady Bunch? Bernie Williams?
Uh-uh.
Doesn't that sound like that'd be his name?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
Favorite giant?
Favorite giant. Yeah, good one.
I don't have
Say
one.
Eli,
I'm
you
not,
coward.
No. I
like his
actually,
face.
I actually love Eli.
I do too.
I
God
love
damn it.
Eli. You know what I love the
He's got
most
the best
about
memes.
Eli Manning is that he looks like he doesn't want to play football at all. Like he looks like he wishes he was in art school, and that's what I've always
great.
loved about him.
Yeah.
He like clearly hates to be there. I
Yeah.
feel like it's like a family business thing where he's like, all right, fine, like
Yeah.
I'll
That's
do
the
it,
best.
but I'm also gonna be one of the best football players.
Like he's gonna when he retires, he's gonna like start making like salad dressing,
you
and then that's gonna be his passion.
He's painting or he's writing some kind of poetry.
Oh,
You
I can't
know
wait to
that's
buy an
coming.
Eli.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah, it's all nudes, and it's nudes of Sawa in that one scene. That's all he paints.
And then I marry him because
that's
we're
right.
obviously
And then you're in love, and then your dad is like, we did it, you know?
Eli Enchanted.
Yeah. Oh, Annie Manning. That sounds fun, right? That kind of works. I mean, keep your
I mean,
keep your maiden name, you know.
Also,
Keep my name
here's where
here.
it all gets tied in. His dad's name.
Archie. Home run.
Full circle.
Finally. All right. What is comedy even? So when you get to Chicago and you start fucking around there, sorry. I was going to ask you one more thing about living in New York when you were a kid. When you were a kid, would you just get on the subway train when you were like 10? Or like
No.
Yeah, how old were you when you got to go by
My
yourself?
parents were pretty strict and like very like Irish Catholic, like traditional family. And so it was definitely a thing where like there were different rules for my brothers than for my sister and
Okay.
I. Like we were way more like under lock and key. But of course, like I found ways to sneak out all the time.
Yeah.
And I have this story that I tell a lot about how when I was in high school, this guy that I actually met at the video store, we worked together.
Yeah.
I was dating him, but he.
Spike Lee?
So yes, it was Spike Lee.
He'd come in and be like, I need a copy.
No,
of-
I was a junior in high school, and he was a freshman at Fordham,
Okay.
which was kind of nearby.
Yeah.
And so we were dating, and his dad was a security guard in like Rockefeller Center.
Oh, shit.
And so we got to go watch an SNL rehearsal taping.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
I had to sneak out of my house to be able to do
Worth it?
and it was totally worth it. I like devised this whole plan. I was able to sneak out, and then I was
Who was
back.
the host?
You know, Kate Hudson.
Oh, I love her.
Musical guest was Radiohead, which at the time
That's sick.
was my favorite band.
Yeah.
And so that it was like the best night of my life.
And then, but then, did you have to be quiet about it? You know,
yeah,
because
like
your
I
family,
couldn't.
it was a secret.
It was a huge secret. I didn't tell them for so many years, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I've ever even told anyone in my family that I did that.
One of my favorite things about being a grown up is just going to my parents and being like, "You're not gonna believe this shit that happened."
So guess what? Well, then the other thing though is they're like, "Oh, we knew
Yeah,
you were an idiot this whole time."
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's
you
fine.
know,
They always
there's-
know.
Yeah, certain times when like you come home out, you know, you've had a couple of drinks or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, I got that past them."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, "No, they knew the whole time."
That's yeah. Oh boy, that's exciting. Okay, so hold on. God damn it. I like the idea of sneaking out. Like when I snuck out, it was to go into the woods and like finger someone, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
I also did that.
Yeah, but
I
you're sneaking
also
out to
did
go see
that.
Yeah, like, hey,
Radiohead.
asshole.
Yeah. Hey, get out of my woods, asshole.
Yeah. No, I also did that. But I had to sneak out. So for me, like when I was able to take the train by myself, like I probably didn't really do that until high school.
Yeah.
And we would go on like, you know, dates and stuff, like to like the tree lighting or whatever.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that kind of stuff was like, we'd go into the city for that.
So it seems like you did live in New York City. Like that's the thing I'm trying to get the feel of, you know? Because sometimes we have guests sometimes from Jersey who aren't that far away, but they're like, we never fucking went there, you know?
Well, I think it's different when you're like not. It just depends on like how complicated it is for you to get to like your train station.
Yeah.
I think as a teen or whatever. But yeah, I had to definitely sneak out and do stuff. But like we went into New York all the time, as you know.
Did you guys live in a house or an apartment?
A house.
Oh, that's nice. Did you actually, when you snuck out, did you actually have to like climb out a window and sneak down, or did you just walk out the fucking
No, I wish I
front
could
door,
paint that
two
picture for
birds
you,
flying?
but no.
Did you ever sneak out?
Walked out the back door.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
No, I just didn't come home.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
I was already out, and then I just would sneak in.
I was snuck out a couple times, and I would go out the window, even though I probably could have gone out the door. But I just thought it was so exciting. I knew how to pop my screen out really easy, and then I jump to. I was on the main level, so I go out the backyard, run around. I loved pushing my car down the driveway and then down the road a while because you could just
See, that's the kind of like suburban experience that I feel like I missed out on.
Yeah.
I never pushed a car
And only that,
to
but
try
there's
to
like
be quiet.
other cars
you know?
in the neighborhood.
Well,
It's not like
no.
Like,
I lived in the middle of nowhere. So if I would have started my car, and also everybody's cars have a sound. Mine was like a '96 Suzuki Sidekick SUV. If I would have started my car, my dad would have been like, "I think Patrick's driving somewhere." So, but I loved that feeling of you go turn it on, you put it in neutral, and you just roll because we had a big driveway. So you roll down the driveway, and then you roll down the hill a little bit, and then at the bottom of the hill, turn that fucker on, and you drive off.
Aren't they going to see your car's gone? Like,
Well, yeah, but you do it in the middle of the night when they're sleeping, you know. And then I get back in the morning before time, and you know, climb back up into that window. I step on there's like an electrical thing. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was like an electrical thing, and I could step up on that and then hurl myself back up into my room, and then my room's full of June bugs for 3 days because the window's just wide the fuck open, you know. Real fun times. Mm-hmm. I'd sneak out now if my wife, you know, was okay. I mean, she's okay with me just leaving whenever I want.
yeah, you can come and go.
Yeah. I sometimes take the dog out the window for a walk, and she's just like, "Use the door, dipshit." You have a dog?
I do have a dog.
Do you have pets growing up?
Bowie. No, I did not have
Nothing?
any. Famously, no, because
Famously.
no.
Yeah.
I begged for a puppy every year, every Christmas, every birthday.
Why?
Never.
Not
My
even
mom
like
was
a
a hard line.
fish or a hamster?
No,
Something
nothing,
killable?
Nothing.
Is your mom allergic or your dad allergic or something?
No,
Or?
my mom was just very adamant that like she didn't want the house to be messy,
Sure.
and she didn't want the hair and she also very rightfully like pointed out that I was not going to take care of it, and she was not wrong about that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
well, as a mom, it's like, well, I already have to take care of all these kids. I don't want to take care of these kids' fucking hamsters.
I think if we would have had to have, because growing up on a farm, like everything was outdoors. All of our animals were outdoors. Like I had lizards and stuff, but like
I feel like that's the way to have a cat.
Yeah.
Did you ever have lizards, or you just have one at a time?
I had iguanas, and then I did have other lizards though. I had a knoll.
Oh.
I had a bearded dragon for years.
You had a what?
A knoll.
Yeah. Did you have a poster of Noel on your wall?
I did. He right up there looking at me, and then I had a poster of Liam on the other side, giving him the finger. Then I had a poster of the other one smashing a watermelon. That was fun. It's like a Gallagher brothers joke.
Yeah, no,
right?
I got it.
Gallagher.
Oh.
See?
Well, there are two watermelons.
He's on the other
smashing.
wall, smacking the one right back at his
My
butt.
favorite thing about Oasis is remember they're behind the music
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
when they had subtitles.
Oh, yeah, because they can't fucking speak. It doesn't. Which one of them now is really good on Twitter? Is it Noel?
Oh,
one of them's like a maniac.
Liam
Liam
is like is a maniac on Twitter.
Yeah, one of them
and
just
he's
took-
just
Is Liam the
constantly-
one that skipped out on Unplugged?
I don't know.
Yes.
So he's the
one-
real lead
he's the
singer
one
that doesn't
was-
write the songs.
Which documentary was he just heckling from the balcony? Was that?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
It was
I
like
don't remember
it was one
which
of those
one
like
that was.
MTV.
Yeah, there's
thing
some
where
MTV thing.
It's going to be on every weekend in between 3-hour road rule marathons.
Yeah.
Yes, where Liam like leaves stage and he's just heckling them from the balcony,
Yeah.
which when you're 12 seems like the coolest thing
Yeah,
on
like
earth.
look at this punk. It's like when that guy from when Chris Novoselic threw his bass up in the air and then it came down and smashed him in the head, and you're
Yeah.
like,
I
being in a
used to
band.
tape shit off of MTV. Like,
Yeah.
I would tape
Oh, yeah.
all of that stuff. I would record episodes of 120 minutes
Oh,
all
sure,
the
yeah,
time
yeah,
and
yeah.
just watch them
It's
back.
way better because you can fast forward through the videos you
I
don't
know.
care
Oh,
about.
oh, I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I loved taping that stuff. That was like a big thing because we had our satellite that we had MTV, MTV2, VH1, and Much Music, the Canadian channel. And so that's what I would do when I would leave in the morning is I just put a tape in and let it record all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my friends would come over on the weekends or if we'd go to their place, we'd just fast forward and be like, oh, look,
Yeah.
it's the new Local H video, you know?
Plus, you could rewatch a video.
Mhm, yeah,
You
totally,
know?
yeah. You didn't have to wait.
If you landed one of your favorite
which
videos.
I did constantly,
Mm-hmm.
and I would use cassette tapes. I would tape things off the radio all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did that like constantly.
Or you'd call in.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
then
I've
you'd
called
wait,
in.
And
Yeah.
as soon as they did it, and all the songs were missing like the first like 5 seconds.
Which is like, and half the time, like I owned the CD. Like
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm doing this.
It was
but-
like I think it's part of the reason why we do comedy. I used to request Tangerine by is it the Flaming
Lips?
Yeah, I used to call in and request that on the radio all the time, and I don't even love that song. I never really liked. There was something about like calling in and requesting this more obscure song made
Yeah.
me feel cool when I was like
Oh, totally.
12 or whatever.
Well, you're
and
trying
if
to
they
score
say
points
your
with the
name
DJ.
Too, yeah, you
Yeah.
always want to look cool to the DJ. Did you guys ever DJ like in your college radio
Oh, I wanted
stations?
to.
Yeah, not. I did like a show where you hosted a show, and I was interviewed on the radio.
I
a
was
bunch,
just
but-
thinking about it the other day that like for about a 2-month period, I seriously considered trying to get into.
That's
being a
all
DJ.
I want to do now. I
Be
literally
a radio DJ.
all I think about now is creating.
iHeartRadio just went bankrupt.
I don't give a fuck if there's money in it. I
They
do
don't-
this.
They don't even have DJs.
We are doing this right now. If we just
Yeah.
played music, maybe somebody would listen to it.
It's all corporate now.
I think about
man.
it all the time about because I like two of my favorite things are talking
Yeah.
and curating playlists.
Yeah.
and so like
Same.
oh God, I think about it because K-Piss was a thing. I think it's still a thing for a while. It was like you know about this?
Yeah.
In Brooklyn, it's like this it's like a trailer. Or like a camper type thing, and they do radio
Oh,
shows
I
out
do
of it.
know. Yeah, I do know about
Anya used to
this.
have a show in it, and it was but it gets like out on like it's internet radio, but I think there is some like dial you can pick it up on too. And like Kevin O'Brien ran a show on it for a while, and it's you just play songs off Spotify you like, and you talk, and I love the idea of like picking. Like I was gonna make a playlist the other day of this that's like these are 5 songs that I think are the same, and I don't know why, or like I put them together in my head, and I don't know why. You know, I'm talking about them all.
Yeah, I would do it again. So I did that in college. I was like a
was your-
DJ.
what was your
and
DJ name?
I didn't have a DJ name, but my I had the late night time slot. I had the midnight to 2 a.m. time
Mm-hmm. Okay.
slot, and my show was called Pajama Rock.
Hell yes.
And I would just play all the weird shit that I wanted
love
to
it.
listen to, and like my friend Lauren and I would just like joke around. Sometimes we would like interview people, but
Yeah.
mostly I didn't want too much talking. I was like very much
More
a
rocking.
purist. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
this needs to rock.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I did that. And I would do that again. That was a fun.
It was my
fun
favorite.
time.
Oh, it was my favorite. I feel like there's probably some sort of a market for that because everything kind of comes around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Plus college radio, you need. I mean, just listening to the stations, you could always find shit you never listened to.
Totally.
Because it was cool young college kids.
I mean,
remember
I
in high
listened to-
school.
yeah, college
always
radio
listening
now.
to. Yeah.
that's how I found out about like I've told the story on here about I saw Dashboard and they mentioned the Hold Steady. They referenced some Hold Steady lyrics in a song, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that Dashboard song." And then I went home that night. I was driving.
Meatloaf, right?
Meatloaf, yep. And when I was driving home, the local college radio at Iowa State was playing Stevie Nicks, the song that they were referencing. And I thought it was Social Distortion because I thought he sounds like that guy. And so then I went home. This was like 2006. I go home and like type in Google like the lyrics that I knew and found out about the Hold Steady. And so then I was just that, whatever it was, that 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. radio show, I would tape it every day because I knew that if those DJs would play songs I liked.
Yeah.
And I found out about so many bands at that time because of that, It's wild. That's where Gaslight came from me, It's just
that's how I discovered new bands in college because we would just get those mailers to the radio station.
Oh yeah.
And so I would just like listen to all these like weird obscure bands that probably have never put out a record since then, but for some reason I still have the CD like in my binder. Yeah, and by that time I was burning everything. Totally. So I was burning all those CDs that would
I think about that a lot because when my band that I was in that wasn't very good, we sent out like 30 CDs to different radio channels and college radio stations all over the country and stuff. And I always wondered if like any of those fuckers played us or not.
Yeah,
because we weren't
your
good.
song was like the hit for a week and a half.
Because like I always think about that kind of stuff because like Omaha channel would play us, during their local shows. And so then, you get that experience. But at the time I didn't understand that like, I guess this could be happening just the idea of somebody driving in like, I don't know, like the University of Ohio.
Yeah.
And their local radio guys like, this is a band from Omaha, It's so exciting. Probably not, though, right? Nobody gives a fuck about nothing.
I mean, the one thing about college radio is like the listenership is pretty low. Like
you're right.
it's a
It's lower
couple,
than podcasts.
because you know
the
why?
DJ and the janitor.
Because their signals are very weak. Like by law, that you can't have like a super strong signal if you're like in a certain tier of radio. And so like the college station, in some cases, there's only broadcasting in like a 1 or 2 mile radius.
In Southwest Iowa, at Iowa Western Community College, where I went to college, there's a radio station called 89.7 The River, and it, for some reason, I don't know
You can
what the
stream
laws are.
that now, right?
You can probably get it. Yeah, The River. I gotcha. Okay. Their signal is not that. Their signal is like huge. You can get it like all across the Midwest and stuff.
That's crazy.
They have like a clear channel tower or whatever.
So that's
And-
I don't
but
know.
I don't know what the rules
loophole
are.
is around
But
that.
what sucks about it is a college radio station, and a lot of the DJs are students and stuff like that, and they have those. But then their normal programming is just all the same radio rock as what it would be if it was just another radio rock channel. And for years that was a big deal. It's like, it's college radio, we're getting it to the masses, and it's like, yeah, but you're still playing the same 5 Hinder songs as everyone else.
That kind of sucks.
It was such a bummer.
Well, I mean, part of the fun of listening to college radio is just how bad the DJs are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how there's just so much stuttering. There's so much like everyone's like off mic like this. It's just like not
and it's like
good radio.
I think about that a lot because we do these shows and like this is our equipment, and sometimes you go to a podcast like you're in nice studios a lot probably. Like sometimes you're using really bare bones equipment to do this stuff, and sometimes you're doing stuff that's very popular and you're using very bare bones. And I just think about any time in college when like they'd interview our band on a radio station and it was like thousands and thousands of dollars with equipment so good, and they're terrible at interviewing us. They get the band name wrong. They get the songs wrong.
They don't know how to use the board
totally,
at all.
Yeah. It's like a computer's not even on, and you're like, what? It's just such a fun juxtaposition of like, wow, look at what we're doing with nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have a request line on over AOL Instant Messenger,
sick.
and so people could just IM
I love
the station account and just be like, hey, can you play this? And no one really ever
And you'd be
did.
like,
I don't think I had a lot.
You'd be like,
Yeah,
can you,
well, you're
email
not-
it to us?
You don't have enough time for requests.
Yeah.
I'm just
Trying to put your
rock,
shit out,
you
yeah.
know?
There was a high school in Council Bluffs that had a television.
There
series.
was? What happened to it?
It's still there. It was actually Abraham Lincoln, and you're not going to believe what happened to him. But they had a television show that was on like local public access television, and their like VJs were like all like kind of cool guys. And then like one cute girl, but they were like seniors and we were freshmen in college. And so we'd watch this show and we would like all the time the show was always on and they were always playing music videos and talking and it was always kind of funny. And then one day I saw one of the kids at the mall and I was just like, oh, it's just some fucking kid.
Yeah.
He's just some high school kid. And I'm 6 months older than him, but in my head it like shattered it because since I had seen him on TV, I was like, oh, he's a star.
No gods, no masters, man.
Exactly, all right? God damn it. Okay, Annie, what we like to always wrap up with on the show is snacks.
Unwrap with.
Yeah, unwrap a snack. Now, what was it when you were up there with your mom and your dad, you're up there on your Westchester, wherever the fuck, What's your go-to? When you were a kid, what's something whenever you go home, you like to have your family make, or what's something you like to make that makes you feel like you're home? Or,
I guess.
Or what's your snacks of choice?
Snacks of choice. I mean, I'm like a savory, sweet person, so I love like a good, like potato-based, fried anything.
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
we're
Chips all
talking
day.
chips, we're talking fries, any of that.
Are
like,
you?
I'm into it.
Is it Utz or Oots?
Oh, I love Utz. Love
Okay.
Utz.
Utz over Wise.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
100.
Utz.
That's
The
where I'm at.
ridged ones.
I've seen that girl.
Now
She's a tattoo. A lot of people get the Utz girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
No, it's great. And I'm also a big, so like what I would buy for like, you know, when I would go to like yearbook or student government stuff after school, I would always get like Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, sure,
that was
yeah.
like my favorite Halloween
Do you like
candy.
any of these new ones they're putting out?
No, I'm kind of like
can't mess
still
with the classic.
I'm still a purist, and I love a yodel. And
What's a
I've
yodel?
realized that this is a regional
It
East
is.
Coast thing.
Yeah.
So a yodel, it's like a snack cake.
Is it a
So
ding dong?
It's no, I think ding dongs are round.
hello?
A yodel is
It's like a devil dog.
it's not quite like a devil dog. I'm trying to think of the company that makes it. So who makes like ring dings and
Drake.
Drake or
I
Hostess?
think Drake's is the East Coast, and
Okay.
I think a yodel is Drake's.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Hostess is
Hostess is
what a lot of
Midwest.
people
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
nationally.
Based out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah. That's
right.
originally.
Yeah, so I was a big
So is my wife.
Drake's yodel person.
I'm gonna take a look at a photo of a
I wish
yodel.
Drake would yodel. It'd sound better than his real music.
Yeah.
I mean, yodels are great. I haven't had one in probably a decade. But
I gave up. I had to quit Little Debbie's because I ate so many fucking of them.
How you feel about this Chicago pizza? Yeah.
No,
I don't wanna talk about it.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Because you're used to being able to move around eating pizza. That's what the problem is. Now all of a sudden you need a plate and a table
I have
for a
my
casserole.
favorite pizza, and I'm also like not a huge
That?
yeah.
This is a Swiss cake roll. That's just a ho ho.
Yeah.
Right, but that's
Hell
you
yeah.
call it a Swiss cake roll, I call it a yodel.
These are my favorite thing on earth. Have you
They're
ever
amazing.
had the big ass ones? You ever get those?
No.
A big
I've
Swiss
seen
roll?
them. I've seen them
Because the technical term of this is a Swiss roll, I guess. And in England, all
Big
over
Swiss
the place.
roll, that's Heidi, right? It's like,
That's
oh
right.
man, I just landed a pretty big Swiss roll.
That's right. That's like
I'm
the biggest
Heidi.
one you can get. Yeah. And in England, you can get them all over the place, and they're like, maybe 12 inches long, and they're about the size of a baseball, and you slice them off like fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Slices.
I think they have a fancy ass name, and you get them out of the freezer aisle.
No, that's a different thing, but that is similar.
Yeah.
But these ones are just like on the shelf. They're just.
And so you get those where? UK only?
You get them all over the UK, but you can get them here. A lot of
Okay.
New York grocery stores have them.
I haven't seen them.
I love them, and I eat them a lot. Because I gave up on snacks for 2 years. I didn't eat sugar for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in, and I'll tell you what, I'm eating those fuckers like crazy. I haven't had a Swiss cake roll, though, which means Little Debbie brand,
Okay.
yodel, or whatever you want to call them.
That's not what
in
I
2
want to
years.
call them. It's what they're called.
What's the best thing to eat at Yankee Stadium?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm a classic kind of like I'll have a hot dog.
Yeah,
I'll have a
same.
hot dog and a beer. Like
That's how I
my,
am with all of
my
those
go-to.
things. There's
yeah.
too many options.
I'm not getting Shake Shack. I'm not getting
Yeah.
anything at like that at a stadium.
I'm the
Like,
same way with
not
like at
doing
the
that.
movie theater. Now they have
Yes.
like way too many options.
No, I'm still
and I
getting
just want
popcorn.
and Coke.
No, I
and
am
maybe like
yes.
a candy.
I'll tell you
I'm
this.
not getting like you can get like a burger at a movie
Yeah.
theater
Yeah.
now. I'm like, why?
I don't mind it if you go to the, what's it called, the Alamo Draft House, where they actually, the whole idea is that it's a restaurant.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
That's
or
different.
like Nighthawk, like something.
Yeah,
like
that makes
yeah,
sense.
But
what's their spaghetti policy?
Alamo Draft House? I don't get it.
Somebody.
But I will say, if you can, I don't know if you can get at Yankee Stadium, but my favorite ice cream, and this is sort of regional to the East Coast, is Carvel. So that's I'm a big Carvel head. So.
I like a Carvel
saw-
ice cream cake a lot.
I was at
the
this
best.
Williamsburg Italian Pride Festival this past week, and they had Dippin' Dots there.
Oh,
yeah.
And it
that's-
no longer says, it just said Dippin' Dots. They're no longer the ice cream of the future.
So it's just now.
We are in the future
Oh,
now.
fuck. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I
now
love
it's
that.
just the ice cream.
Oh, I love that.
Did you
Yeah.
eat a Dippin' Dot? I've never liked to
Me neither.
actually
Me neither.
eat
I
Dippin'
want ice
Dots.
cream.
Yeah.
I want that race
Ugh.
that you have with ice
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah.
Where you have, a sugar cone with some soft serve on there, and you just got to try and keep up so it doesn't get on your hand.
I the other day went to an ice cream shop in Park Slope, and it's on us. We didn't walk in and read the
Well, yeah,
sign
'cause
and
it
know what it
melts.
was. But no, it was a Korean rolled ice cream. Have you ever had this?
Oh, I have
It's
had
like
this.
yeah, and which is good.
They had
but-
ice cream roll stands at this Italian Pride Festival.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay, did you have some?
Uh-uh.
It's a whole thing.
I went with fried Oreos.
They take ice
and that was
cream,
a bad
smash it
decision.
on a plate, on a cold plate,
Yeah.
make circles, and then you just get basically big rolls, and it's in a bowl with like 5 or 6 of them. But literally it was like 100 degrees, and Stacey and I just wanted like a fucking vanilla cone.
Yeah.
And once we were in there, we probably could have pulled out, but then we're like, maybe we'll really like
What-
it. And it was good, but it was like, because they roll it, it's so hard, and I like a soft ice cream. So
Did you get an ice cream truck around Riverdale?
Yeah.
They just roll up because that's like foreign to us.
They don't have that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, did you guys pop the fire the what are those
No.
called?
No. You're talking about the hydrant. It's
Yes.
literally someone's doing
Right
it
here,
2
right here?
blocks from here.
Oh
that
yeah,
I
they just
saw.
all of our hydrants are open.
No. Because I was in a very like suburban
Okay,
part.
okay.
Like like if you saw my neighborhood, you would
Yeah.
be like, this is the suburbs.
It could be okay.
Oh, you did have the ice cream trucks.
But
though?
yeah, we had
Good.
ice cream trucks. We had
you just drop everything you're doing as a kid and just like
yeah,
try
of
and
course.
get
You
money
go
as-
running, and I would go. I always got the chocolate eclair. That was my go-to for
Yeah.
the
I
ice cream
love
truck.
I love the term chocolate eclair. I don't know if I like it from ice cream, but I like the
You
idea
never
of an
had those
eclair.
bars, those like good humor bars. It's like
Yeah.
they've got chocolate eclair, and then they've got like a strawberry one.
Maybe.
I think it's called like I don't
Strawberry
actually
eclair?
know what it's called, but
Sunday bars.
My favorite ice cream
Something like
go-to is just vanilla ice cream with a chocolate. Would you dip it? You know, you good?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one for me.
What are your what are the big quintessential New York foods? Jen? When you get back and you like, I gotta.
Oh, I mean, I have like my personal favorites, which I think
Yeah.
like, you know, like I'm not going to say like pizza because
Yeah.
obviously
That's
pizza.
hack. Yeah.
And it's also like everyone knows that anywhere, even not even just New York. I don't care if you're in New Jersey, wherever, your average slice of pizza is going to be better than
Yeah,
most
most places.
pizza
Yeah.
that you're going to
Yeah.
find elsewhere. So like obviously that, but I really like to go out to Flushing and I like to do like the dumpling crawl and I
Okay.
like to
Yeah.
go get like the cold sesame noodles.
I never messed
and-
with a lot of that until I moved here. Dumplings are great.
Yeah, love a dumpling and just dim sum in general. I like to go to Kongi Village, which is this place. There's a couple locations on the Lower East Side and get this like porridge stuff that they
Whoa.
make, but they also have really good soup dumplings there. So yeah, I like to do that. And I was just there this morning actually. I got breakfast at this place in Greenpoint, Acapulco, which has like the best cheap breakfast in Greenpoint. It's like
I love-
$6 for like a huge huevos rancheros.
Nice.
And
Greenpoint's
that
my
kind of stuff.
favorite neighborhood in New York because when I moved here, I walked a dog there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so like I know every street. I don't know every street name, but I know
Yeah.
what it all looks
You
like.
walked the streets.
1,000, and then I quit walking dogs for 2 years, and then I went back to walking dogs for a year, and I walked the same dog, and so like I just feel I feel more at home. Like when I go there, I feel the same as when I go back to Des Moines and walk around like Sherman Hill, my old neighborhood. It's like, oh, I feel comfortable here. I lived
yeah,
here. You know?
I lived in Greenpoint, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm staying this
Yeah.
trip. And so it's so funny to like be back staying in this neighborhood.
and it's
'cause,
probably
like
changed a shit ton. Since you were
so
there.
different, and
They
like
knocked all the-
I'm like a
Well, that's
different
all they
person
do.
now.
That's
so.
every neighborhood in the city, man.
Yeah, I did that whole waterfront and stuff like that. Yeah, Stacy lived here in 2009 for her internship, and like nothing is the same.
Yeah.
She was like when she moved here, we were talking about living in Bushwick. She's like, we can't live in Bushwick; it's so weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, now this is where everybody
I
lives.
still struggle with that because I moved here in 2006, and at the time, like I would say what like. You know, the Morgan stop was like getting kind of cool
Yeah.
then, and
Yeah.
now that is just like extended
Norwood,
so far.
the Norwood
you
stop
know?
where I lived when I first moved here. That was like back when I lived there. It was like I was it was everybody was like, you can't live out there. That's so far away. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
now like 20 comics live off that stop. You know,
I feel
It's so
sorry for
weird.
the people that still live in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Like the people that have been there for like 40 years.
Well, I like it when people come here like from other cities to visit, and then they're like, you know, like a hipster like in Williamsburg, and it's like, buddy, you're referencing
gotta
a joke
update
from
that
10
reference.
years ago. Yeah.
You gotta update that.
That's so
But yeah,
funny.
Yeah, it is kind of wild to walk around Williamsburg now since I've been back because it's like, oh, there's a Muji store
Yeah.
for some reason. There's just like
The
this
giant
fancy,
sidewalk sale. The whole
Yeah.
you know,
neighborhood.
ice cream place and this whatever. So yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah,
the new
it's
like
so-
office buildings and yeah, it's rough. And those were like the places I used to go. So
Yeah.
I used to go to Death by Audio all the time. I used to go to 285 Kent. I actually bartended at
Oh, wow.
285 Kent for a while. All those places are gone.
Yeah.
Like that whole building is like now like the Vice offices. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. God damn. Well, hey, Annie, this was a great episode.
Hell yeah.
You're a fucking fantastic guest. Why don't you tell the listeners, now they love you, they're already on board, let them know where they can find you on the internet and see you do comedy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, everything at Annie M. Russell. 2 S's, 2 L's.
And that's Annie, A-N-N-I-E, right?
Yeah, A-N-N-I-E.
Is it A-N-N-Y? That's not a way to spell it, is
That's, if you work at Starbucks, it
Sure.
sometimes
Yeah,
is. But no.
Are you, and is that short for Anakin?
It is.
All right.
Yeah. We didn't get a chance to get around to Star Wars, but yeah.
So I felt like a real dud this whole episode, but that right there saved it.
Killed
so
it.
yeah,
Killed
real
it.
good one.
And yeah, if people are in New York, because
you're still here for a couple weeks,
Yeah, I'm still
or-
here until the 31st. So I'm doing a show tonight when you're listening to this in Greenpoint at this place called Baby Grand.
Oh, I love Baby
cool.
Grand. Is that Emily Walsh's show?
Yes,
Hell
Emily
yeah,
Walsh,
yeah, yeah.
who is a delight.
She's so fucking funny.
And who I think is so funny. So I'm doing her show tonight. I'm also going to be on Wet Cash later this
that's
week.
great.
So
Chicago staple. now in the
Chicago
city.
staple now in the city.
Just like
People-
everyone else, moving here and taking over.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sorry guys.
No, I love it.
No, that's a Chicago staple.
Talking about it?
No, moving here and taking over.
Oh, yeah.
Moving to New York is what Chicagoans
Yeah,
are known
yeah,
for.
yeah. I love it.
No one from Chicago be mad at me for saying that. And people can come to I think it's called Cherry Tree.
Cherry Tree? Oh, Thursday?
For Sunday night for
Oh.
Bad News, and then just come on Tuesday at the Graham.
Fantastic.
So
That's a good lineup of shows.
Come to all those things. I'd love to see
Hell
you
yeah.
guys.
God damn, that's fantastic. And then, of course, Freshman in Chicago is...
Yes, Freshman in Chicago is the next one is going to be August 8th. We have an awesome lineup. We got Carly Ballerini, we got
Ooh.
Jason Melton, we got a bunch of fun people
Love
on
them
that
all.
show. So you should come out. It's at Transistor, which is in the Andersonville neighborhood of Chicago.
Cool. Named after one of my favorite 311 songs, of course.
Which one, Amber?
Amber, yeah.
One of your favorites is Amber.
Yeah. I could. Oh, don't. I could go
Okay.
deep. I keep wanting to tweet that. You know that meme that's like you, and then it's nothing, and then it's me, and I say something, right?
Yes.
I keep wanting to do you, nothing, me. My cousin dated the lead singer of 311, but I don't tweet that because the bass player of 311 follows me on Twitter, guys.
Oh.
I'm gonna get him on the show. That just ruined whatever that Anakin joke was.
Yeah, dude.
Ream, where can listeners find you on the internet?
Reamcore.
REAMKORE.
Follow me there for a bunch of dumb jokes. Also check out House of Bricks Comedy the second Friday of every month at Precious Metal.
What's going on? You something wrong with your face again?
No.
Got a nose? Got a nose issue?
Patrick, shut up. I'm trying not to sneeze.
The listeners can hear it.
No, they can't.
They can hear it.
No.
Okay.
They can hear me not sneezing, which means they don't hear anything.
Oh, you sneezed.
What about you, Patrick?
You can follow me at Patrick Casey. That's at PatrickHastae, PatrickCasey.com for all upcoming shows and dates. Get on the Patreon. We got some cool stuff up on there. It's been good. It's
Like
been
the
fun.
Facebook page?
Like the Facebook. If you're new, if you followed us you saw us on some Reddit or on some Facebook stuff, that's great. Jump on board. Tell your friends. If you're from Podomatic and you're like, oh fuck, you guys are
I
still
saw that
doing this
episode.
shit. Yeah.
You dropped a 2-minute episode
I
by yourself.
finally told all the Podomatic fans that we moved 3 months ago. So if you're back, thanks for being back. We're great. Go check us out. Give us some money. Ooh, we got a new shirt that's up just for a couple days. The Taz shirt. It's up because I think we're probably going to get sued if we don't.
Spin wash only.
Got 'em. But yeah, go buy that. It's $15. We get $2 of that. Tell your friends, be cool, never die. And as always, remember, if you're not an NFer,
You're an MFer.
so get the fuck out of here.
Welcome to BrainMachineNetwork.com.